And I don't think either of those two would have been able to cope. They'd been anywhere else. And that was the only good thing that happened, was that they were there.
Princess Anne has reportedly taken a bold step that no one expected, bringing Camilla's son into a serious legal battle over the use of Balmoral Castle. What started as a quiet royal issue has now turned into a courtroom storm, shaking the entire palace. Did he really break royal rules without permission? Stay with us to uncover this royal rift. A royal mystery that shook Balmoral Castle. In a story filled with confusion, power claims, and strict royal rules, a serious issue reportedly began at Balmoral Castle. This is one of the most private and important royal homes. What was meant to stay quiet inside the castle walls quickly turned into a situation of concern. It involved claims of unauthorized filming, misuse of authority, and urgent royal action. According to reports, Tom Parker Bowles, the son of Queen Camilla, was linked to this situation. It was said that he became involved in a commercial filming project at Balmoral without proper permission. This raised serious questions because royal properties are usually protected with very strict rules and approval processes. The incident reportedly started in a very secret and unusual way. Staff at Balmoral noticed strange activity around the estate when it was supposed to be closed for private royal use. This immediately caused concern because Balmoral is always treated with great care and privacy. Soon after, security teams allegedly saw production vehicles arriving on the grounds. These included trucks, catering vans, and filming equipment brought in during early hours. Everything seemed carefully planned to avoid attention. The presence of a full film setup inside a royal estate surprised the staff. When questioned, the production crew claimed they had official permission. They reportedly said Tom Parker Bowles personally gave them approval. This shocked many because access to royal homes normally requires formal approval from senior royal officials, not private arrangements. Tom was accused of presenting himself as someone with special authority. Reports suggested he told the production team that, as the Queen Consort's son, he could allow filming in royal locations. This created the impression that he had a special role connecting royal spaces with business projects. Trusting these claims, the production company moved forward quickly. They did not check with palace officials before starting the project. They believed they had secured a rare opportunity to film inside Balmoral, one of Britain's most famous royal estates. The location was seen as perfect for a luxury documentary series. The show was planned as a high-end food and travel production. It focused on grand estates, traditional meals, and royal-inspired settings. Balmoral was meant to be the main highlight, giving the series a strong sense of history and elegance. Large funding had already been arranged. Streaming platforms and sponsors reportedly supported the project based on the promise of access to royal locations. This created pressure to deliver what had been agreed, making the situation more serious. Everything changed when Princess Anne made an unexpected visit to Balmoral. Known for her discipline and respect for royal tradition, she is closely connected to the estate. Balmoral holds deep emotional value because of Queen Elizabeth II's love for the home. During her visit, she allegedly discovered a full film set inside one of the dining halls. Cameras, lighting, and crew members were already in place. The quiet royal space had been turned into a busy production area, which shocked her. Her reaction was described as very strong. She was reportedly angry and deeply disturbed by the situation. To her, Balmoral is not just a building, but a family home filled with memories of her late mother. The idea of it being used without permission was unacceptable. Princess Anne immediately ordered all filming to stop. She demanded that the entire crew leave the estate without delay. Security staff had to step in to ensure the instructions were carried out quickly and safely as tensions rose. At that time, Tom Parker Bowles was not present at Balmoral. He had reportedly sent the production team ahead while staying in London. This meant he was not there when the situation was discovered, leaving him unable to explain or manage the events directly. Princess Anne then contacted King Charles III. She asked if he had approved any filming at Balmoral. It was reported that the king was surprised and confirmed that no permission had been given. This made it clear that the filming had taken place without royal approval. Following this, Princess Anne requested a full investigation from the royal legal team. She wanted every detail reviewed, including contracts, payments, and documents connected to the project. The goal was to understand how the situation had developed. Investigators reportedly found that the issue was not limited to Balmoral. It appeared that multiple deals had been arranged over time based on promises of access to royal estates. These included other well-known properties such as Sandringham and Windsor Castle. Reports suggested that Tom had been presenting himself as a link to royal locations for commercial projects. However, there was no official role that allowed such authority. This raised serious concerns about how these arrangements were made. Financial records showed that large payments had already been made. Production companies and contractors reportedly paid fees in advance for access and coordination. These payments were based on the belief that royal locations were guaranteed for filming. The total amount involved was said to reach hundreds of thousands of pounds. This caused alarm because the promised access had not been officially approved by the royal family. It created a serious mismatch between expectations and reality. Princess Anne was deeply upset by how Balmoral had been used. For her, the estate is a symbol of family history and Queen Elizabeth II's peaceful retreat. It was never meant to be treated as a commercial filming space. Further investigation reportedly uncovered documents that appeared to show official approval. However, authorities believed these papers were not genuine royal records. This raised concerns about possible fabrication and serious misrepresentation. When confronted, Tom Parker Bowles reportedly called it a misunderstanding. He claimed he believed his family connection gave him certain privileges. However, investigators believed the evidence pointed to a more organized and repeated pattern of actions. Stay with us. A growing pattern of royal privilege. Royal attorneys and investigators delved deeper into Tom Parker Bowles' actions, revealing a much broader scope than initially anticipated. What originally began as an inquiry into Balmoral evolved into a larger pattern of recurrent misconduct. This pattern exposed a history of leveraging royal ties for personal gain over an extended period, sometimes in ways that were not immediately apparent. The inquiry revealed that Tom had been discreetly utilizing his mother's royal status in business transactions for an extended period of time. By exploiting Queen Camilla's position as queen consort, he could unlock doors that would typically remain shut. This allowed him to access opportunities that others in his industry might never attain, regardless of their level of expertise or talent. In the realm of culinary critique, there exist numerous individuals with expertise and literary prowess. However, Tom distinguished himself through his special connection to the royal family, a trait that investigators suspected he leveraged for business purposes. Although not always explicitly stated, this affiliation subtly influenced many of his negotiations. Some restaurant proprietors went on to recount their encounters. They narrated occasions when Tom sought preferential treatment during his visits. This encompassed complimentary meals, reservations ahead of others, and seating at tables that were fully booked. Although not explicitly requested, they mentioned feeling a subtle coercion. A lot of them believed they had to comply due to the fact that they were interacting with the son of the queen consort. Some businesses found themselves in an awkward position due to this situation. Although there were no explicit threats, there was a fear that rejecting him could result in repercussions down the line. The subtle coercion escalated the severity of the situation. It went beyond just serving food or providing hospitality. It was about the power associated with being connected to royalty. The inquiry also examined Tom's collaboration with corporate sponsors. It was discovered that multiple companies offered significant payments for endorsements and public appearances. These agreements were not solely related to his role as a food critic, but also to his affiliation with the royal family. His reputation held significant influence beyond his field of expertise. The impression was frequently reinforced by marketing materials. Utilizing images of Tom with his mother or at prestigious events, the message implied royal sanction, even without official confirmation. This led to a confusing message, not explicitly endorsing royal approval, but also not completely disassociating from it. The process of book publishing also had a familiar pattern. Tom's cookbooks were tied to contracts that emphasized his link to royalty. Publishing companies were not just backing an author, but also the prestige that came from being associated with the royal family. This ultimately raised the worth of his books, resulting in more lucrative deals and improved financial conditions beyond what was typical for someone in his position. Television programs were also influenced by this trend. Tom was sought after by production companies to feature in food.
Sweet Jesus. That tastes like British Airways coffee. That is not a compliment. That's really dull. It's not the best bacon you'll ever taste, but you're not expecting that. This is a decent
Travel shows, not only for his expertise, but also for the association with royalty that he brought. His involvement in these shows drew in viewers interested in royal lifestyles and connections. As a result, Tom became a significant media personality, valued not just for his expertise, but also for the attention he garnered. Investigators later observed that Tom not only profited from his connections, but also seemed to exaggerate his level of influence. In specific business scenarios, individuals thought he had greater access to royal decision-makers than he actually did. This misconception inflated his perceived power. The Balmoral incident was not the sole instance mentioned, with a longer pattern emerging where assumptions of authority were left unchecked. This resulted in a blurred line between personal identity and royal connections. The event planners provided additional details, revealing that Tom would occasionally ask for appearance fees that were considered unusually high for someone in the food critic industry. Despite this, they opted to pay these fees due to his connection to royalty. The fees for speaking engagements and appearances often amounted to 5 figures, further emphasizing the monetary value placed on his royal association. One significant discovery was the adoption of regal language in a few of his commercial transactions. Several correspondences were crafted with styles or emblems that gave off an air of authority. Although authorities acknowledged that this might not have been explicitly against the law, it gave off the impression that his actions were endorsed by the palace, even if they were not. Social media presence was also taken into consideration during the evaluation. Posts frequently showcased family occasions, royal engagements, and trips to royal landmarks. Though these posts were intimate, they also served to enhance his public persona. As time passed, the distinction between personal life and public image blurred even further. Individuals who were employed at the royal estates also had reservations about Tom's behavior. On occasions when the family came to visit, certain staff members perceived Tom to act as though he had a superior social standing than he truly possessed. They recounted instances where he made demands or anticipated preferential treatment that exceeded the norms for family visits. At certain moments, the employees felt uneasy, as they thought his actions displayed a feeling of entitlement due to his family status. They believed that he was pushing the limits of the customary respect shown to royal visitors in a challenging manner. When all of these pieces of information were compiled, experts started to notice a distinct trend emerging. It wasn't just one significant event, but a series of gradual developments that culminated in a bigger problem. Individually, each incident may have appeared insignificant, but when viewed collectively, they illustrated a consistent pattern of exploiting royal ties for personal gain. A royal line drawn. Princess Anne was said to be profoundly disturbed and revulsed by the findings of the investigation. According to her, Tom had been exploiting the royal family for years without offering anything of value in return. She thought he had a lack of regard for the institution and used his royal ties solely for his own gain. Anne has gained a reputation for being one of the most diligent members of the royal family. She is firmly convinced that being in a position of power brings along obligations, self-control, and dedication. In her opinion, entitlement is not without a cost. It requires a corresponding level of accountability. Due to this conviction, Tom's behavior directly contradicted everything she holds dear. She viewed his actions as a stark illustration of expecting rewards without putting in any work, and enjoying benefits without having any obligations. To her, this was not only disheartening, but also intolerable. It embodied a mentality that contradicted the principles she has followed throughout her lifetime. The scenario also brought to mind Anne's children, Zara Phillips and Peter Phillips, who carved their own paths to success without depending on their royal titles or status for benefits. They concentrated on their individual skills and professional lives, ensuring a clear separation between their personal and royal identities. Tom's actions seemed to rely heavily on his royal connections, in contrast to others. Investigators discovered that he had accumulated millions of pounds through various enterprises over time. These ventures encompass selling books, working on television shows, providing consulting services for restaurants, and securing sponsorship deals. However, a significant portion of his earnings can be attributed to his ties to the royal family rather than his professional expertise. The results indicated that his association with the royal family played a crucial role in his professional advancement. It was not just a mere advantage, but rather the key factor in his career success. Without this connection, his financial achievements would probably have been significantly altered. During the ongoing investigation, tax issues started to arise. If earnings were gained through deception or exploiting royal ties, it could result in potential tax implications. This prompted financial authorities to conduct additional audits to ensure accurate income reporting. The initial event at Balmoral expanded into a more significant issue over time. Instead of being viewed as a single error, the investigation revealed a consistent pattern of behavior. It was now considered not just unauthorized access, but potentially a prolonged misuse of power. The entire legal landscape was transformed by this change, indicating a recurring trend of leveraging ties to royalty for personal and financial benefit. As a result, Princess Anne's legal representatives found themselves in a much more advantageous position than they had initially anticipated. The problem extended beyond financial concerns and commercial interests. As the investigation progressed, more alarming allegations emerged regarding the possible misuse of royal connections in his personal relationships. But then Queen Camilla got involved. How? Let's dive in. A royal storm of loyalty, power, and panic. According to reports, a dramatic and unforeseen twist occurred in this situation. Upon finding out about the inquiry into her son's behavior and Princess Anne's vigorous advocacy for legal measures, Queen Camilla supposedly embarked on a swift and frantic mission to safeguard Tom Parker Bowles and minimize the repercussions. The aftermath purportedly led to significant conflict within the royal family. According to sources within the palace, Camilla reportedly had a conversation with King Charles right away. It is said that she advised him to halt the investigation and avoid any legal proceedings. She pointed out that a public legal battle would attract significant scrutiny and damage the reputation of the royal family even more than the initial issue. It is claimed that Camilla justified her actions by framing them as a way to safeguard the institution. Nevertheless, Princess Anne apparently had a contrasting perspective on the matter. She believed that the motive behind Camilla's actions was solely to shield her son Tom, rather than the monarchy itself. This differing viewpoint led to a significant rift between the two women. Camilla and Anne's intense and emotional confrontation was witnessed by staff members during a private meeting, where they were overheard arguing passionately about the handling of the situation. Anne remained steadfast in her belief that no one with ties to the royal family should be exempt from the law. On the contrary, Camilla allegedly stressed the importance of prioritizing family loyalty and privacy. She argued that handling the issue discreetly within the family was crucial to prevent any public harm. Both parties remained steadfast in their positions, leading to the conflict turning into a highly personal dispute. In a different effort to handle the issue, it is rumored that Camilla proposed repaying the money that was affected. She expressed her willingness to use her personal finances to compensate those who had experienced financial hardship because of Tom's behavior. The goal was to resolve the issue promptly and avoid any legal complications. Princess Anne, on the other hand, supposedly did not agree with this. She thought that compensating for the problem with money would let Tom off the hook. She felt that facing the consequences was important, and compensating financially would not hold him accountable. According to reports, Camilla's following step was to reach out to the royal legal team directly. It is said that she tried to give instructions to halt the investigation entirely. As a result, a unique and delicate circumstance emerged within the royal hierarchy, sparking concerns about control and the decision-making process. In the end, the legal team chose to press on with their duties, ensuring the preservation of the Crown Estate's interests and upholding correct legal procedures. Despite Camilla's plea, her request was denied, and the inquiry proceeded. Next, it was said that Camilla attempted a new strategy. She proposed a confidential meeting between Tom and Princess Anne, believing that a discussion within the family could settle things without involving the law. However, Anne rejected this suggestion outright. She indicated that the issue was not simply a personal dispute but a legal matter that needed to be addressed formally. Simultaneously, there are indications that Camilla got in touch with media connections in an effort to sway public perception. Certain reporters were given mysterious tips depicting Anne as excessively severe and driven by emotions. Nevertheless, As journalists started verifying the information, the gravity of the situation became more apparent, and the story fell apart. There were claims that Camilla tried to restrict Anne's entry to specific royal areas and activities. Many viewed this as a way to get back at Anne. Rather than calming the situation, it only heightened tensions within the family and strengthened Anne's resolve to carry on with her plans. King Charles faced a challenging situation where he was stuck between his wife and sister. Camilla was reported to have applied emotional influence on him, while Anne insisted on strict adherence to laws and regulations. His efforts to remain impartial failed to appease both parties and only heightened the conflict. Reportedly, the situation escalated when there were worries about the behavior of the royal staff. Allegedly, Camilla promoted allegiance to the family rather than complete collaboration with the investigators. Several employees felt compelled to keep quiet or minimize their observations, leading to a highly tense and uncomfortable workplace. Nevertheless, the pressure was not ignored by those involved. Subsequently, various employees conversed discreetly with Princess Anne, disclosing their perceptions of efforts to manipulate their statements. This reinforced Anne's perception that the issue was escalating beyond the actions of a sole individual. Inside the palace courtroom storm, Princess Anne's firm resolve to pursue legal action against Tom Parker Bowles hit an unexpected hurdle. The issue at hand transcended mere innocence or guilt, evolving into a complicated legal dispute influenced by ambiguous royal protocols, unclear jurisdiction, and perplexing boundaries of authority. The primary concern initially was related to jurisdiction. To put it simply, there was a lack of consensus on the exact legal system that had complete authority over the matter. The Crown Estate, responsible for the management of royal assets, operates under a unique framework, adding a layer of complexity to the situation right from the start. Tom's lawyers immediately capitalized on the confusion by asserting that cases involving royal residences or connections to the royal family should not be treated the same as regular legal matters in typical courts. Their stance was that the situation did not fit within the normal jurisdiction of traditional courtrooms. Princess Anne's legal team vehemently disagreed with the statement. They clarified that the fundamental problem at hand was dishonesty and exploitation of trust in business contracts. According to them, these issues are regulated by standard law. They further asserted that the inclusion of royal assets does not exempt one from legal repercussions for any misconduct. However, the dispute regarding jurisdiction resulted in extensive delays. At each progression, fresh legal disputes were encountered. Consequently, the pace of the case was hindered, providing Tom's party with additional opportunities to contest every aspect. One more significant issue arose regarding the issue of authority. The question of whether Princess Anne had the autonomy to initiate legal proceedings regarding royal property, or if the king's consent was required, was causing confusion. The sensitivity of the issue increased as King Charles found himself caught between being Anne's brother and Tom's stepfather. Being in a position of conflict within both the family and constitution, his choice to stay impartial only added to the confusion. Anne's legal representatives contended that the monarch's participation was essential due to the involvement of crown property. Conversely, Tom's attorneys asserted that the case lacked legitimate authorization without explicit royal consent. This led to further delays and disputes. In the meantime, Tom's legal team began to take a more assertive approach. Allegedly backed by Camilla, they enlisted the services of seasoned attorneys who are renowned for dealing with complex legal matters. Their tactic involved delaying the proceedings and scrutinizing every aspect put forth by Anne's camp. They submitted numerous legal requests challenging the court's authority, the evidence presented, and Anne's motives for bringing the case. A key point they raised was that Anne was motivated by personal animosity towards Camilla rather than genuine legal interest. The assertion caused a lot of confusion among the public, diverting focus from the actual details of the case and turning it into a narrative centered around family conflict. Anne's supporters vehemently opposed this statement, arguing that it was a purposeful ploy to divert attention from the supposed wrongdoing. The act of uncovering information, involving the exchange of evidence by both parties, turned into a significant source of conflict. Tom's legal team requested extensive documentation regarding the usage of royal properties, previous agreements, and internal authorizations. They aimed to demonstrate that informal entry had been allowed in various capacities in the past. Anne's team pushed back against the requests, claiming that they were overly expansive and not relevant to the current situation. They contended that Tom's party was attempting to investigate confidential royal documents without proper legal justification. Months of debates ensued regarding the sharing of documents. Each choice required extensive deliberation, leading to escalating legal expenses for both parties. The progression of the case was characterized by a slowdown and increasing costs. Witnesses further complicated the situation. Members of the palace staff found themselves in a precarious position. There were concerns about potential consequences regardless of whose side they were on. Some individuals grew reluctant to speak up, uncertain about what they should disclose in the courtroom. Subpoenas were necessary in numerous instances to secure witness testimony. Despite this, some individuals provided ambiguous responses or claimed inability to recall specific details. As a result, both parties faced challenges in constructing a compelling and straightforward case. But how did this legal war affect the entire monarchy? Stick around. A legal crisis that shook the royal system. Constitutional scholars quickly started discussing the case openly, and their views were greatly split. Certain individuals thought Princess Anne had a strong legal basis to pursue the case, whereas others contended that her royal status added legal ambiguity to the situation. This dispute led to uncertainty and ignited a broader public discourse on the functioning of royal law in contemporary society. With the addition of more legal perspectives, a larger problem came to light. Numerous regulations regarding royal assets and responsibility were deemed obsolete and ambiguous. This scenario brought to attention deficiencies in the system that had been unnoticed for a long time. Matters that were typically dealt with discreetly were now being scrutinized in the open. Simultaneously, prosecutors initiated an investigation into potential criminal offenses unrelated to Anne's civil lawsuit. The purportedly falsified authorization papers sparked significant worries over deceit. Certain financial dealings linked to the case also aroused doubts about illicit financial management and potential criminal gains. Nevertheless, the prosecutors proceeded cautiously. They were reluctant to take action without explicit backing from the royal family, since the matter concerned the queen consort's child. This reluctance added further complexity, delaying any autonomous legal proceedings. Princess Anne discovered she was in a challenging situation, contending not only with Tom's lawyers but also navigating the inclination of organizations to shield royal family members from lawsuits. The system typically leaned towards confidentiality and resolving matters discreetly, even in grave circumstances. The standard procedure for dealing with such situations within the royal family was to keep things private and out of the public eye. However, Anne decided to break tradition by pushing for formal legal action to be taken, going against the usual practice of maintaining silence and handling matters in private. The expense of the litigation escalated significantly. Both parties were investing considerable sums on legal representation, professionals, and inquiries. The costs for legal services swiftly soared into the hundreds of thousands of pounds, and the dispute became increasingly costly as time went on. Princess Anne was said to have paid for her legal fees out of her own pocket instead of using money from the royal family. She aimed to stay autonomous and uphold her integrity during the proceedings. Meanwhile, Camilla apparently assisted in funding Tom's legal defense, although the specifics of her financial contribution were somewhat murky. Negotiations took place multiple times throughout the legal proceedings. Tom's attorneys put forth various suggestions to resolve the conflict. These options encompassed apologies, returning the funds, and commitments to refrain from repeating the same actions. The objective was to avoid a lengthy and public court trial. Princess Anne declined all proposals, feeling that accepting them would avoid consequences and sweep the issue under the rug. She thought it was important for the matter to go through a thorough legal process to ensure the truth was revealed and documented accurately. Throughout the duration of the case, the royal family started to feel heightened stress and strain. The atmosphere at family get-togethers grew more awkward and uneasy. There were rumors that some individuals purposely skipped events to avoid being in the same place as others. The strong front of solidarity that the royal family typically displayed to external observers started to weaken. The situation involving Tom caused a significant rift among family members, leading to a sense of separation and diminishing the feeling of unity. The previously cohesive public image was now showing signs of tension. Princess Anne's personal well-being was impacted by the stress, causing worry among her loved ones who noticed the toll it was taking on her, both emotionally and physically. Nevertheless, she stood her ground. Anne was firm in her belief that the case revolved around principles rather than her own comfort. Despite facing increasing pressure from various directions, she persisted in moving forward. Her resolve remained unshakable, despite facing conflicts within her family and attracting public scrutiny.